and welcome to the Irish Arsenal GOONER podcast. It's Monday the 13th of March, so all going well. This show will record the way we want. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined by my weekly guests, Eamon Donnelly. How are you, Eamon?
Good evening, Jonathan. Monday evening, I was watching Blue Peter there. They were showing me how to make Easter egg boxes there. A bit of sticky back plastic and a few Rice Krispie cakes.
Craig Smith, how are you?
Danny, how are you?
And the return of Aaron Niles' finest, Brendan Boyle. How are you, Brendan?
Fabulous, guys. Fabulous. Nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you flying the flag for us. As always, you can catch our show on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. A big thanks to Martin Stunville, who makes this show possible. He will upload daily content on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel and Instagram page and Facebook page, and all the other social media outlets. So thanks to Martin. Also catch a show this week, Beyond the Last Man, where he will do a review of the women's 4-0 home victory over Reading last night. So watch out for that one. 110 views, 14 likes, and 2,880 subscribers to date. So long may it continue. Comments wise, Richie Rich, Aussie's mate, left a comment. And Matt 407A. I don't know if any of you lads know of these.
No.
He says get Eamon after show.
Has Bardo been back on?
So it's not actually in a wine night. Ozzy couldn't make tonight due to his mother-in-law being sick, so our best wishes goes towards Ozzy and Co. So big shout out to Ozzy and Daddy Ozzy as well. Hope you're listening. We'll try to do you proud. Brandon is Ozzy stand-in, so you've a lot to live up to, Brandon.
Yeah, no chance.
That's what I like to hear. If Gary Lineker is listening, if you don't want to go back on Match of the Day, there's a spot here for you as host. You've a lot to live up to. I don't think Eamon could be replaced. He's had 9p45. Said discussed beforehand. He stuck it out well. On this week's show, we'll be reviewing yesterday's 3-0 away success to Fulham, previewing our home game against Crystal Palace this weekend at 2 p.m. and a brief mention of our Europa League second leg against Sporting Lisbon, which is poised at 2-2. I know, Craig, you'll be in New York, will you, on Thursday?
Yeah, New York this week, yeah.
Yes, happy days. So we'll all be flying out with Craig to meet up. Will you be meeting up with Bryant? Are you US Gooner, yeah?
I'm gonna text him there to see if he's around on Sunday for the Palace game, yeah.
Yeah. We hope to have Bryant on at some point, but due to the time difference, he's always working, sadly. So
he's still watching the box set of Coronation Street to find out who Deirdre is.
He's still looking over that knicker factory. Seems to be in the Rovers return a lot, though. He sent a video there on WhatsApp yesterday, and it seems to be absolutely mental, that pub, the Gooner pub in New York. So the scenes to be incredible, so it's great to see Arsenal being supported by so worldwide, so hopefully we get to go over sometime. Catch all the matches in the River Bar in Dublin City Centre. It's been rocking, Eamon, hasn't it, this season?
Yeah, it was a good atmosphere there yesterday. And even though the rugby game was on, they gave us the room downstairs, and so we had a good day,
Yeah, big shout out to the River Bar crew there. Yeah, they look after us really well there. Yeah, and as Eamon said last week, in terms of tickets for matches now, it's it's very hard to get now, isn't it, with 12 games to go?
Well, you see, the way we operate the tickets is we've got 27 silver card members who donate their cards to the club.
Yeah.
So if those 27 want to go, they have to get priority. So it is becoming difficult. But look, we managed. I just want to give a shout out to Sandra Duffy. She's managed heroically this season to be able to keep everybody sweet, and we're nearly there. And she's putting some shift now. So big shout out to Sandra, who was the secretary of the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club. You know.
And to everyone on the committee, Eamon, including yourself, Paul Brown, etc. You do a great
What's
job.
that?
A big shout out to the committee as well. You know, because the job you do there is great. You know, so big shout out there. I think we'll all agree, Brendan and Craig, myself.
Yeah. Don't forget Sergeant Brown. I'll get those cards laminated.
I'm still waiting.
The director of lamination.
Listen.
I'm waiting on my one from 2009.
Say, listen, Brendan.
Sorry.
Listen. That one's nearly laminated, Johnny. Nearly there, you know. Yeah.
If he gives it to me on May the 28th, I'll be happy. All's forgiven. To the review, lads, of yesterday's 3-0 away win over Fulham. Goals by Gabriel, who scored on his debut against Fulham back in September 2020. Martinelli, who scored with a header and had a goal that came off Robinson, disallowed due to VAR again. And Martin Odegaard, who took his goal superbly well. I think the biggest shout out has to go to Leandro Trossard. A hat-trick of assists, and the first player to do it since Cesc Fabregas against Blackburn Rovers in 2009, which is incredible. But he's been a bargain at £27 million, I think we'll agree. Great bit of business when you consider what Mudryk and Felix is doing for Chelsea. They're not doing half the job what Trossard's doing for us. And what a signing, does quality. I think the first half was the best I've seen all season away. The way we passed, the fluidity of it, Fulham didn't expect it at all. They did miss Paulinho in the midfield, Fulham, but I don't think even with him, if he was playing, I think just the way we were playing was just really incredible. This is the best first half away performance I've seen all season. Just so commanding, you know, especially after the Europa League game on Thursday as well. The lads look really fresh. I thought Martinelli caused them all sorts of problems all day. Really, the only other note was the second half. Tossen's header off the crossbar was their really only chance. In truth, they didn't use Mitrovic really to effect in the first half. He didn't trouble us at all. It leaves us 5 points clear again, lads. Just a perfect display, really faultless. Second half we just saw it out, real professional display. And happy days. We go on to put Palace at home on Monday. Eamon, how did you see the game yesterday?
As I say, at the end of the day, we won. Get on with it. No, to be honest with you, I actually thought it was our best performance of the season. I did, because I was worried that, you know, you come back from these away games, and I know there were 6 changes and all that, but you come back from these away games, and then you know you've got a game at a team that's been going very well on a tight pitch. It had all the makings of, this is going to be a big ask. And Fulham tried to press us, but we were really, really sharp from the start. We played out through their press from the first whistle, you know, and we had confidence on the ball. We were really, really sharp, really, really switched on. And I think they got a bit of a land. They wanted to put heat on us, and we played through them so easily that they then began to concede spaces to us, because they said, oh, Jesus, like if we push up that high on them, they're going to carve us. And, you know, the goal was coming. The one really great thing for me yesterday was that Granit Xhaka was back playing the way he had been 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Getting in those inside left channels, making a really telling contribution. And if you see his contribution to the goals, You know, he's striding up the pitch at pace with the ball at his feet. You know, we'd never seen that before from him. He really has been, you know, absolutely quality. And when Granit Xhaka is on the pitch, the one thing that happens is Martinelli gets the ball quicker, you know, and Martinelli absolutely tortured Fulham yesterday. He tortured them. They just didn't know what to do to him. The understanding between him and Trossard was incredible. They just did not know how to handle it. So for all these meltdown people who had a meltdown on the Saturday night that Chelsea signed Mudryk, and we went off and did a small bit of business getting Trossard, I can tell you, that's the best 20 million quid we've ever spent. Ever. Right? That is a serious piece of business. This guy has added value to our team instantly. Instantly. Right? His footwork for the second goal, because it wasn't Xhaka's greatest pass. He actually bombed it at him. His first touch to get it under control and then to trick the defender and then actually, I'd like to talk a large pitch and put course. He just teed it up for Martinelli. Here, put that in, son. Martinelli could have thrown his cap in it. You know, it was absolutely brilliant by Trossard. The second goal that we got, if that was Man City that got that goal, we'd have all the northwest of England mafia, you know, going on about, oh, you just can't play against this team. This team is the great. And I'm not saying we're as good as Man City. We have been this season, right? But if they got a goal like that, it would be, oh, you just can't do that to Man City because they'll do this to you. Saliba's pass off his left foot from the right-hand side of his own area. Not only was it brave, the skill level involved in what he did there, it was like a quarterback. He was like Tom Brady hitting the ball, you know? So I just think that it was a game that we had total control. Our one-touch football to get us out of trouble was incredible.
Yeah.
And I finished by saying that we're now on 66 points. You know, I always said, if you get 2 points per game, you've Champions League football. We've got 27 games played. And that's 54 points to 2 points a game. We're on course for 90 points here. Right? If we keep going, well, if we keep going on that trajectory, we're on course for 90 points. I mean, 24 points out of 11 games. That's points dropped now, right? Gets us 90 points. That's as many as the Invincibles got.
Yeah, it's only 123 games, believe it or not. So we're only 2 off them, which is incredible.
The Invincibles won 26 games and drew 12. That's 90 points, right? So I'm just saying that. I said on the show last week, even with relegation form, we'll cement top 4, and we now have a free hit at whatever's going. And if we can keep players fit, Gabriel Jesus coming back makes a big difference. He's going to have to work to get into the team. He really is.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see him coming on, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see him coming on. He's going to have to work to get into the team. Look, whereas if that was Arsenal 2 years ago, the way Trossard played yesterday in that position, he's almost undroppable.
Yeah. I agree, Eamon.
And then if you put Trossard out on the left, Martinelli's almost undroppable. And then if you say, well, let's go out to the right-hand side, Saka is undroppable. And that's it's a great position. It's a great position to be in. Yeah. You know?
And that's even without Nketiah, who's had a great 3 months since he's been out as well. You know, so it's head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the squad.
It's a great heading to have.
The squad is a small bit short. But it's not as short as we think it is when we have our players fit.
Yeah.
You know, and young Nelson, half the Premier League wants to buy him now because they can see what he can do.
Yeah.
And he can't get near the team, you know.
Which is incredible, isn't it? Yeah. And such a young as well, talented young, and we even forget about Emile Smith-Rowe still has to come back as well. You know, like a bat out of hell there. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say, like, Emile Smith-Rowe is one of the best players in the country.
And
Yeah,
on
you can't
any
give
other
in.
season, before Arteta and Edu got to do their work, we'd have been rushing him back straight
Yeah,
away because he would have been that important
100%.
to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Agree.
yeah. And to think, like, when Gabriel Jesus got injured during the World Cup, I feared the worst, but he hasn't really been missed, which is nice to say, but it's nice to have him back at the same time. Yeah, as Eamon said, 66 points now, and the goal difference is only +5. City, in terms of City's goals, we've scored 62 and they've scored 67, but the goals conceded is the same. So we're closing that gap, which it could come down to goals, but I don't want to put the mockers on it. It's great to be top though. For so long this season, it's just been incredible form we're on. I never saw this coming. Not last season's shown, but it's even Alan Smith said, and I was listening to Jay Bottroyd on Sky Sports News, who was doing the reporting on the match. He was saying that this squad is so young, he can keep these together for a few more, season and see, all you have to do is build on it, which is, we haven't said that in a while. Brendan, welcome back to the show. How did you see the game yesterday?
Yeah, well, one of the things, like Trossard, I'll go on to what Eamon was saying there with Trossard, and he's just slotted in seamlessly, been fantastic. He reminds me a bit of when in the '89 season we bought Brian Marwood. Some of you wouldn't remember him, but he just boosts. He was a winger, similar position to Trossard, left side, and he just gave the team that little boost to push them all the way up to get that title. And that's what Trossard is doing for us. And you look, Jesus comes out and Nketiah comes out, Trossard straight back in, as if he's always been there. And it's almost similar to Jorginho. Like, everybody was really worried if Thomas Partey gets injured. Jorginho has come back in. And at the Bournemouth game, I'm sure you probably all seen it. He was right in front of me on the sideline, and he was jumping for every ball. He was tackling everything. He's bought into it as well. So, like, the whole camaraderie there is fantastic, and that's what you need, because things are going to go against us probably at some stage and a few of the games. Hopefully they won't, but if they do, if there's such a nice tight unit, we can push through any adversity, I think, at the moment. And that game, I was worried about the game against Fulham before kickoff. Yeah. And we were imperious is the only way to describe it, because it was like a training game. The passing out from the back, playing through their press, like Eamon was saying, my heart was in my mouth numerous times. And the only one that the only one that was a little off, I thought, was Ramsdale. So with his feet, but he still pulled off a couple of great saves. And so again, just absolutely fantastic. And then the game management in the second half, I thought, was brilliant. And he brought his subs on. He got minutes into the guys, kept them involved again. And like I say, bringing Jesus on 20 minutes, and he looked like he'd never been away. Absolutely brilliant. And it was an easy game in the end. But everybody else that's been there, like, they've only lost 3 games, and they've only lost them by the skin of their teeth, with the exception of Newcastle, I think it was. And we made them look very, very ordinary. Very, very similar to Brighton, except for their, we raced ahead of them. Okay, they came back at us a little bit, but again, fantastic result. Mm-hmm. And let's hope for a few more. But we've got tough games coming up. But I think on that performance yesterday, if we were at Man City, I think we'd have beat Man City on that performance. So and I'm delighted.
It was a great display,
Yeah, and everyone's coming back now, with the exception of El Neni. You're getting minutes into Smith Rowe, you're getting minutes into Jesus, you're getting minutes into everybody else. That's going to be required. So it's all looking good, and hopefully the VAR gods will smile on us a little bit, and we should be good to go. Yeah, I'm confident. I'm getting more and more confident, and the planets are aligning, I'm hoping.
Yeah, It's been 19 years in the making, Brandon.
I know.
It's down to one hell of a measure when that fucking title get lifts in May. No, but it was some performance, wasn't it? Like, it was the first half was almost faultless,
Yeah.
Just the way it actually shocked Fulham, I think. You could see Marco Silva. Jesus, what's happening here? It's just when you compare, like, City struggled against Palace, but
I was just saying, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say your team's better than you, and that's what I think Marco Silva was doing. But there's nothing he could have done to stop Arsenal in that moment that they were in, because it turned into a training game at the end. The flicks and Thomas Partey doing the Cruyff turn, there was nothing anybody could have done to stop them yesterday, which is great to see.
Yeah, and it's even what Gary O'Neill said at the end of the game last week when the celebrations, when we went mad. He says Arsenal deserve to celebrate like that because they were better than us and they're the best team in the league. Like statements like that from opposition managers. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great to see we're getting recognition at last. And as Eamon said last week, rightly so, we at last a big name manager. I've eaten my words, heads. I still think we need a big name manager.
Well, I'm telling you now, John.
He is a big
I've put it out on this show before. What we need to happen is make sure our big name manager stays with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard links with Barcelona this week, but I think that's just trying.
I don't think they're all that. Sure, they're in for everybody,
He's not going anywhere.
No, you're right.
I'm trying to sound Pele.
That's a lot of photos.
In the last 6 months,
Welcome back, Craig, yourself. How did you see the game yesterday, Craig?
Yeah, look, I think the lads have pretty much touched on a lot of the points I was probably going to say myself, but yeah, look. Now, like the lad said, I was a bit nervous coming to this game because the whole Thursday Sunday thing. We struggled sometimes last year with it, and as Man United and West Ham, I'll tell you, they struggled yesterday with it. So I was a little bit nervous because Fulham are a decent side, and yeah, obviously they were missing Palhinha and an ex-player, Vers William. Now I know he didn't do great with us, but I think he's been very good for Fulham this year. He takes a lot of their set pieces and that, and he sets up a lot of goals for them. So it was good to see him out as well because I think a lot of ex-players were knack of scoring against us. So it was good to see him not on a starting lineup. I think the first 15, 20 minutes or so, we were kind of just feeling each other out. The both of us, we were controlling the game, but I think Fulham kind of set that compact to see what we were going to do as well. So after the first 20 minutes or so, it was great to see the team kind of open up, because once the game opened up, there was only going to be one winner. Fulham isn't really, Craven Cottage isn't really the most volatile place to go as an away day, So I think the Arsenal fans enjoyed themselves yesterday, anyways. Listening to the TV, they were very loud, but the first half was outstanding. It was very, very similar, I thought, to the Brentford game earlier on in the season. We won 3-0. I think we went 3-0 up at half. In the first half as well. Yeah. I think them two performers are probably the best this season, in my opinion. I thought it was very similar to the Brentford game, and even with the Brentford game last year, we just controlled the second half, and that's all we did with the Fulham game yesterday as well. I know they had 1 or 2 chances, but that was always going to happen. We were always going to sit back and let them come at us. And look, we probably could have scored 1 or 2 more goals, which would have been good for the goal difference. But I'm not going to give him a bit of 3-0 win. I know the lads have said Trossard. I thought he was absolutely outstanding yesterday. Definitely man of the match. He's given us more going forward than I thought he would, because I always knew he was a good player, Brighton, but he is unbelievable. He doesn't look out of place in the front line. So as Eamon said, he's definitely on drop at the moment. He has to start against Palace next week. Jesus is only coming back. I don't think Jesus will start on Thursday. Maybe I'm wrong. He might, but even if Jesus gets 20 minutes on Thursday and 20 minutes maybe on Sunday, easing back into things, and then obviously Leeds coming back to first home game of the season after the international break, he might get a start then. But I think just to mention, I think Saliba and Gabriel were unbelievable yesterday. Mitrovic didn't get a kick.
Yep.
The whole game, like I don't know if you've noticed it, Mitrovic actually kept going out to Zinchenko and Ben White because he couldn't get anything off Gabriel or Saliba. I know Saliba got a lot of applause yesterday, but I just think Gabriel this whole season has been unbelievable. He's even last week when we played Lisbon, it was Saliba and Kiwior together. They were kind of inexperienced, but Gabriel is the experience at the half there, and he's definitely helping Saliba this season as well. But I think he's been arguably, I know there's probably a lot of players you could say has been player of the season, but I just think how good Gabriel's been and consistently good. He's been unbelievable. I know Brendan touched on Ramsdale, one or two of his wayward kicks, but everyone can't be perfect, I guess, yesterday. But no, it was a super win. As Brendan mentioned as well, the subs are brilliant as well. I think he brought a lot of the players on at the right time, to give them minutes. So I think there'll be a lot of changes going into Thursday. But look, roll on next Sunday against Palace, and hopefully we're 5 points clear going into the break.
Just picking up on Jonathan, just picking up on one or two of the points Craig made. It struck me that having conceded so many waxy goals from corners recently, that they worked on that because they were very, very, very solid with some of those balls coming through. Mm-hmm. I think also Ramsdale got a bit of protection. Ramsdale had been targeted during the season under corners because he's not the tallest goalkeeper, and it seemed to me that whatever way we were set up the other day, Ramsdale didn't get bogged down. And although he had a few dodgy touches, he was very good under the high ball. Mm-hmm. So when you say Mitrovic didn't get a kick, well, he did. He got a couple of kicks off Gabriel, do you know? And I mean, that I always say, Brendan would know this from their GAA days. I always say, if you're on top, stand on their throat, they do it to you, and they would do it to you. But the one thing I'd say is, if you look at our last 3 away games, we went to Villa straight after the Man City game. A really easy one to cop out and lose. Yeah. And we found something in ourselves, having played shite in the first half, we found something in ourselves to win the game. We then went to Leicester, who normally come out and play. They didn't play against us because they were afraid to. Mm-hmm. We then went to Fulham, who decided to press us like a squadron at the start and realised that we were playing through them so easy that they got afraid. So I'm beginning to. I don't want to sound any notes of optimism here because it's not in my nature when it comes to Arsenal. But we're able to mix it up and do things depending on circumstances. So people always say, "Well, what's your plan B?" We do have a plan B. We're able to mix it up and play depending on what comes at us. Yeah. And I was really like Fulham went at us at the first. I don't mean on the ball. I mean, in terms of where their positioning was on the field, they tried to push Ben White and Zinchenko right back, which we just played through them. Yeah, but we were in the zone, Brendan.
Yeah, in the first, as I just picking up what Eamon said there, in the first 4 or 5 minutes, Gabriel got fouled literally from the kickoff, a very late challenge, and one of the other players got exactly the same. So as you're saying, they were trying to mix it with us, but these boys can stand up for themselves now, which is great to see. We won't get
one more point, Damon, just about the Gabriel kicking Mitrovic. I'm not trying to be kind of devious here, but how good is it to hear that? Throughout the years, many centre halves have Arsenal had. But how many centre halves have Arsenal had? Now I'm not slating on centre halves throughout the years. There were too nice, the likes of Mustafi, the likes of Scalacci. I could probably go on, but we've two centre halves now that strikers are afraid to play against. They're afraid to get a smack off them.
Right, I'm going to tell you something. Brendan and I have had many conversations over drink, and when it comes to those great Arsenal centre halves of the past, I always say to him, my favourite was King Kong, Martin Keown. For that very reason, he terrorised the opposition. He mightn't have been as good a defender as Adams and Bold, but he terrorised the opposition. Michael Owen said he was the hardest player ever to play against because he was all over you like a bad soup, you know.
It's like we're going to might do the same.
And Gabriel's getting a bit like that. Gabriel gets tight to you and he annoys you and he does things to you. And you know, you're right, Craig. We haven't had that kind of small bit of spite in us for a long, long time.
Yeah. And all the title winning sides Arsenal they've had that.
Yeah.
You know, like I know you're saying don't get excited, Eamon, but you know, the last time we won the league, I was 10 years of age, so it's probably hard for me not to get excited, you know. But
you got every right to get excited. This is
I'm afraid to get excited as well, Brendan. You know, but look, like if
enjoy the moment.
Yeah, enjoy the moment, and you know, going to the international break, we're still 5 points clear. You know, we have leads.
Clear.
Yeah, and we've leads the first game back. They have Liverpool. You know, so let's see how that goes. You know, and look, they may beat Liverpool, but you know, Liverpool are coming into a little bit of form themselves. I know they lost the weekend, but they were good against United.
Yeah.
Let's just hope something. Let's just hope something. William Zaha has a bad cup of Horlicks during the week and feels very, very ill at the weekend because he has been a thorn in our side. That guy, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to look after him for once. You know?
He's got to prove against us because he wants to be playing for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, he's a gooner, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gooner through and through. I have to say, Craig, you don't look a day over 9.
Craig, you know, you said when you last won the league, you know, you were 10. That was 4.7 decades ago for me.
The last time, the last time I remembered, it was in 19 years now, is actually when I had a function in liver. So this is the torment I've gone through in 19 years watching the Earth.
So when I mentioned Brian Marwood, neither of the two of you knew who he was.
But funny you mention that, Brendan, because how many times did Brian Marwood, although he was a left winger, appear up the centre to finish off a goal? A bit like the lad you were talking about, you know?
Yeah. It really, really is. He crosses the ball. He doesn't mess about with it too much. Gets the ball in, lets the ball do the work, and he's just really, really impressive. And so was Marwood. Marwood was a fan favourite as soon as he signed.
What was the chant? Brian Marwood on the wing. Yeah. But I'm still, you talk about being 10 when we won the league. I'm still on this. Radford to George. He's done it. 1971. That's where I am. You know. Yeah. Oh God. Can't dare. I'm beginning to lose sleep over this now. I'm getting excited. You know.
It's hard not to.
It's that little feeling in the pit of your stomach. That's you know. And that was, I think.
Oh, but it's so exciting, Deirdre.
From the Bournemouth, going back to the Bournemouth game, we were 2-0 down. That was it. That was gone. The season was finished. And then 25 minutes later, obviously we were back in the zone, and now we're another game down, and
But you say that, Brendan? But I said it on the show last week, without going back to the Bournemouth game. When Bournemouth got their second goal, you don't see this on television. Our lads were on the halfway line waiting to kick off, good to go, while Bournemouth were still celebrating, you know. But the one thing that I took from...
Saka pulled them all out up to get ready.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. There was no looking around having it. But the one thing I noticed from when the excitement died down from the Bournemouth game, we were in a row and I legged it across the row and I was hugging everybody, and just as I was in mid-hug, I kind of went, I had my back turned to the screen. They're going to VAR this. You can't celebrate a goal anymore. Yeah. They're going to VAR it, you know. Yeah. So anyway.
No, I still think if we go on to win the league, lads, I think Reece Nelson's goal against Bournemouth, that could be the defining moment where we can say That's what changed it for us, you know, because
And
it's Brendan. It says if we lost that,
Yeah, not so much even for the points. Obviously, we needed the points, but for the belief.
Correct.
coming
I think
from
the
2-0
players, I think the
down.
players believe we can win the league now. No, I think that they
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking on that is, if you were the great Pep and the great Man City machine, you must have thought that we were going to cough up points over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and with the away games that we had and all of that type of stuff, and they must be scratching their heads thinking, Jesus, lads, this is not going to be as easy as we thought now. You know, you could see what it meant to them when they got their waxy penalty. I mean, such a lazy penalty that Palace gave away. But you could see what it meant to them. Because no, they're hanging on. They're hanging on to us, not the other way around.
And I know we were saying, I think all of us said about the Thursday Sunday thing. You know, they want to win the Champions League. They've been there, done that with the Premier League last 3 or 4 years. You know, so if they go far in the Champions League, there could be 1 or 2 games where they, you know, might rest 1 or 2 or you know, drop the heads. So,
but they can rest 1 or 2, and you don't notice it.
That's the issue.
You're probably right. But the point I'm making is that it was all a bit, you know, laughy waffy there a couple of months ago, where, you know, should we all know Arsenal are going to be reeled in. The way they celebrated their goal against Palace the other day, the penalty, right?
Yeah,
they're hanging on to us now, lads, not the other way around.
They're feeling the pressure as well.
Absolutely.
Like Guardiola, was reading in the paper this morning, Guardiola even said, because they've won back-to-back titles, the players aren't as hungry as we are.
That's all shit.
I think he's.
Yeah, I don't believe
I know it's probably. I still think he's conceded defeat in this, lads. You know, I think Craig's right. He wants the Champions League. Because this is his
rallying call. That is a rallying call to his players.
I don't think so, Eamon. I think they've admitted, like, they've won it. They've won it so many times. There's nothing to prove
they wouldn't
now.
have celebrated like they celebrated that penalty, John. So,
absolutely, John.
That's the thing he said. To put the pressure back
being
on.
erratic as well. But I was disappointed in this, lads. When we got beaten 3-1 at home against City, the match was on Premier Sports here, and John Hartson was in the panel doing the analysis. He says, the lad that was presenting it was asking him, who do you think will win it from here? And he says, I always fancied Man City. You know, for an ex-Arsenal player, I was a bit disappointed with that, you know.
See, Johnny,
I think he's got it wrong.
I would have said that as well.
All the pundits are saying City. They're afraid to say Arsenal.
Do you not find all, you know, Sky Sports, BBC,
John Hartson, let me tell
they're
you.
waiting on Arsenal.
John Hartson is one of the dyed-in-the-wool Gooner pundits. Absolute dyed-in-the-wool, right? But he's asked his opinion. You know, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think of existentialist physics? Well, I think it's a lot of chemistry. You can't, like, you have to give your opinion. You can't just say, well, because I'm the next
Arsenal will win. It's the last time he'll be ever asked on Premier Sports after that comment.
But Jonathan, I think if you'd have gone around the stadium at full time after the City game, you would have got 90% of Arsenal fans would have said exactly the same, that they thought that was it over. And, you know, we all thought that was it. You know, City were just going to crack on. And it was only like the game against Forest the following weekend got us straight back into it. It gave us more belief. And off we went again, you know, on the run we're on now.
Speaking of pundits, remember Gary Neville said 3 or 4 weeks ago that United has finished at Arsenal. How's that going, Gary Neville?
I have to say, how much was he paid to say that?
I actually think he believed that 3 or 4 weeks ago. You know, Man United had to beat 3 or 4 brutal teams. You know, Man United are back. Man United aren't back. Without Casemiro or Rashford, they're nobodies.
Yeah. Casemiro.
I think Craig actually pointed it out on a show. I think it was back in January, Craig, when you were on. I think it was the Arsenal United game, and there was games you were saying before the Arsenal game. It was games United should have been winning, you know, because the opposition was lesser.
Yeah.
You know, like the gap between us and them now is 16 points. You know, it's incredible what 3 or 4 wins does for you. You can pull away from that pack completely now, you know.
2 more days now.
Like that was our fifth.
If they'd have gone
Was
and
our
beat
fifth
Liverpool last
away
week,
win in the London Derby as well.
Jonathan, if
Sorry,
they'd have gone and beat Liverpool the last week, they were still in the title race, and now they've totally coughed it. You know, so
in the top 4 race now.
they are, yeah, they are.
To be honest, yeah, they're slipping like a stone now. Casemiro's out for 4 games now. That would cost them big time. And the longer they go in the Europa League will cost them as well. But if they win the Europa League, they're in the Champions League. So yeah, it's yeah, look, it's about our own business. United do what they want. It's about ourselves now. Like that's 10 goals this month we scored in the Premier League. 4-0 Everton, 3-2 Bournemouth, and 3-0 yesterday. Like we've shortened the goal difference as well. Like a good bit as well in the last month. So that game on April 26th against City, I'm hoping we won't be needing to win or get anything there. I'm hoping, because that's dependent if City could be in the semi-finals at that stage of the Champions League. They might want to, if the league has passed them at that stage, which it could be. I'm hoping by Brighton the league would have been sewn up.
We're still thinking, Johnny.
But yeah, no, I still think City will win it. I still think we're probably a season ahead of ourselves, but
Let me tell you something. What I saw yesterday, Brendan was right what he said. If we'd have played like that yesterday against Man City, we'd have beaten them. We were superb yesterday.
About that now,
But no, well, hold on. I mean,
City aren't Fulham.
Hold on a second now, Jonathan.
But City would have given a better.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
If we were,
Stop interrupting me. Drink your Guinness and shut up for a second, right? Right. If City were that great, would they not be 10 points ahead? Well, hold on. If City were that great, would they not be 10 points ahead of us?
They're having a bad season, Eamon, aren't they?
That's the bloody point. So I mean, if we go up to Man City with a fit team, I can tell you, our 11 is as good as their 11. I can tell you that now.
Can I just say something there in relation?
I thought when we played in February, we would have beaten them, and when they beat us, yes. When I mean yes, we're about a season off what they are.
Can I just?
I honestly thought in February we would have beaten them. Did you not know?
No, we made mistakes. We handed it to them on a plate.
Exactly, Brendan.
Yeah.
We get the game.
We still had enough in us to win that, though.
Johnny, just as Brendan said, Man City didn't beat us, by outplaying us. We get them the goals. It was, we were a little bit naive. We were a young team. They probably thought, we're at home. We need to attack them. If we were a little bit cuter, I think we even could have, got a draw with City. But
also, Craig, we were coming out of a sticky patch of form at that time.
True, yeah.
Like we've drawn with Brentford at home. We've been beaten by Everton. We've been beaten in the FA Cup. We were coming out of a sticky patch of form. So
we lit options as well. Eamon, we had a lot of injuries then, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm just saying we're coming out of a sticky patch of form.
We've reached such a level this season. I think we expect to beat the big. Like we've reached such a high level. We expect to be the best.
I'm disappointed what I'm hearing here because I'm hearing a double standard, right? I'm hearing on the one hand you saying that John Hartson is a gooner and he should say Arsenal are going to win the league, and you yourself, who host a bloody podcast, you yourself have torn torque on us now. I'm going to throw my pen at that one now.
But what you're saying as well, Jonathan, one of the things you're saying there is about City having a bad season. Their average point total for the last 4 or 5 seasons is only 1 point down from their average across the last 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
They're having their average season. They're having a normal season, which is always pretty spectacular. It's just we are having a worldie of a season.
See, this is what happens when you bring real expertise on the show, Jonathan. We know these things.
But even that game,
even from the subs bench, Brendan, Elaine Collum. Come on, Whoopi, son, you're coming
to
off.
say,
It's all up there. It's all up there.
Johnny, even that game on Saturday there, the Man City game on Saturday, you know, like, they weren't great at all. Like, they didn't play great. Like,
no.
I'm not afraid of Man City. You know, maybe I might eat my words. But at the moment, they're not playing great.
Mind, Craig, on the Champions League, and do you think they've taken their foot off the gas a bit?
Well, what
I
score
know.
is it? 1-0 to City? Is it 1-0?
Every year.
To win the
City saved all their players to play against us. De Bruyne was on the bench for the last 3 games before us, and he played them. They played all their big guns to play us, to try and get a result against us. And we still pretty much played them off the park, except that we made mistakes. So they're more scared of us, I hope, than we are of them.
And then we got 2 of those 3 points back. We got 2 of those 3 points back the following weekend. You know?
maybe you're right, Johnny. Maybe they do have an eye on the Champions League. They get 1-1 with RB Leipzig, so maybe they did have a bit of an eye on that on Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever they play. I actually think it's tomorrow they play, so maybe they were a bit concerned about that. But look, you know, we have the Europa League to contend with. I know we can maybe play our second team or whatever you want to call it.
Man City will bottle the Champions League.
Yeah, well, like they do, like they have the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes, because Pep is an imposter. He is one of the great bottlers of the game. He has bottled every Champions League, except for the ones of Barcelona.
Only one.
Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions.
I think you would have won the Champions League with that team, EAMONN.
Oh, sure. Himself and Brendan could have played at the back in that team. Right?
Now, to be honest,
they had a decent midfield.
What I saw in the Arsenal tournament at the Emirates, I'd have to disagree. I saw the goalkeeper.
You didn't see anything at the Arsenal tournament in the Emirates because you couldn't see how you're away. You were up to being out the night before.
Like everybody else.
Yeah.
I had a man of the match.
It was only the size of Brendan's arse and my arse combined that stopped you from conceding about 10 goals.
10 more goals, Eamon.
Yeah,
we were
I think
we were like sponsored by Eddie Stobbart. We were that way.
Immovable objects. No, yeah. Look, I suppose it's just the excitement now of his top, isn't it? Like, you don't want to see us messing it up. Let's
get on to the next game.
Yeah. I suppose with Eamon and Brendan gone after this week as well. No, yeah, we move on. Sunday, lads. Crystal Palace at home, 2 p.m. City are playing in the FA Cup, so they've no Premier League game. As Craig said, we can go 8 points clear, which would be massive. This brings us back to the opening day of the season again, these fixtures. We were in the River Bar for the opening game. Martinelli got the opener, and it was an OG from Guille at the back, but it's just the way we started that match at 100 miles an hour. It was just, I'd never seen it before. We literally blew Palace away. Palace is under Patrick Vieira, an ex-Arsenal legend, of course. Their last win was December the 31st against Bournemouth away, and they haven't won in 9 games now. Because and between 12th and 18th, there's only a gap of 3 points. So that's they gave City a game, though. You know, they defended really well against them. I thought they deserved a draw. If I was really being honest, it was a poor challenge by was it Olise, I think, in the box, and Gundogan. It's a tough one to call, really. This, you know, it's a game where you'd say the way Palace are playing lately, we should go out and beat them. But they've got good defenders in Anderson and Guille. He's done a good job to Revere. They're tight. They've only conceded 33.
We have to go and win, and we will go.
The way we're playing, it's very hard to call these games out because every game up in them now. Eamon, how do you see the game going on Sunday?
Okay, well, I fear 3 things, right? I fear Wilfred Zaha because he has tortured us down the years. and we haven't been able to deal with him. So we need to deal with him, right? I love his attitude. I love watching him. He's a really good player, you know. And if he wasn't the age he is, I think we should have been all over him. But he's 30 now, you know. Number 2, I fear this thing about we can go 8 points ahead has been something that, you know, gets us maybe too excited before the national anthem plays at the end of the night, you know, that way. And the third thing I fear is this sensationalism on Sky Sports that could Patrick Vieira be the man to dent Arsenal's title hopes. So that's just my innate sense of Arsenal tragedy impending. But if you look at it logically, we're better than them. We have better players. We play better football, and we should win the game. And I think we could win a 3-1.
Brendan, how do you see the game going? Are you going yourself?
No, because rugby's on over here. The prices of the flights were just astronomical, so I gave this one a swerve because I haven't won the lottery. Again, as Eamon said, we're better than them. We have players coming back that are hungry to get back in and get their place in the team, get more minutes in. So everyone is pushing. When a team is winning, everybody wants to be playing. And when a team is winning well, they want to be playing more and showcasing themselves. So I hope that we go in and we start the game like we started against Fulham and not how we started against Bournemouth. But I think the Bournemouth game was a kick up the behind for them, and they won't be caught as cold again, I hope, or it'll be reiterated to them not to be caught like that again. So I'm confident. I hope we absolutely wipe the floor with them. I am always worried about Wilfried Zaha because he plays fantastic against us, because he should be playing for us. And I'm just hoping that we absolutely wipe the floor and we get that goal difference down to 0.
Yeah, it's +5. He does keep chalking it down, Brendan. Yeah. Craig, how do you see the game going on Saturday? You'll be in New York and taking in the Gooners bar for this.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be in a bar in New York watching it. Look, I think we should win the game, definitely. I think you said Palace are 12th, Johnny, you know, so don't have a whole lot to play for. I know it's probably only 6 or 7 points from the relegation. They're probably 6 or 7 points off the relegation zone, but I think they're probably, you know, too good to go down. I think they'll definitely get 3 or 4 more wins than their Vieira.
4 points.
4 points.
4 points.
Yeah, so they do have something to play for. So, look, Zaha always plays well against Arsenal because, you know, as Brendan said, he wants to play for us, you know, and that's why he always performs well against us. So he's one to watch. Another player, maybe Eze. I think he's a very good player.
Yeah.
Very good player, you know. I think we were actually linked to him a year or 2 ago, but we never went for him. The only kind of worry I have with this game is I hope, you know, we attack them early and maybe get a goal early doors, because the longer it goes on, they'll just try settle for a point. You know, they'll compact the midfield and they'll probably put 5 at the back, maybe, or 4 at the back. So look, realistically, we should be beating Palace at home. The danger man is Zaha. Other than that, I don't think they've a whole pile going forward. They don't really score many goals themselves. So predictions wise, I'll go 3-1. I think we'll concede. We've conceded the last few games at home, so hopefully it's another win and we can go A clear going into the break.
I take what we won on the opening day. That's 2-0. You know, I think we got out there, 2-0 going into the international break. No injury worries as well. It's just the international break. It's the gap again, isn't it? And like as Paul Merson said, when we played Brighton away, he says you go into the last 10 games of the season, there's a pretty good chance he's staying there, and his words have been good so far, so fingers crossed, lads. 8 points is a nice cushion to go into that game on April Fool's Day against Leeds United. And then we have Liverpool away then. So, you can even slip up at Anfield, which and still have a bit of a cushion.
Can I just mention, Johnny, if we go A clear next week, and they play before us, they play at 12:30 on the Saturday. We're 3:00 on the Saturday then. So the pressure on City then will be huge to beat Liverpool. If they even draw against Liverpool, we could potentially go 10 clear. So as Eamon said, City are chasing us. We're not chasing them.
I think Liverpool could get something at it. Actually, being honest, yeah. There's a rivalry between Klopp and Guardiola. And Liverpool have done well against the big teams. It's the poorer sides that they've let themselves down against. But, especially after the international break, they might be a bit fresher. They could play into it. And the early games are a bit, as we found out, you can't slip up.
We could spend the whole night brain aching about, this might happen, that might happen, and and all of a sudden, you've got all sorts of scenarios. The message here is,
if everyone listens,
go on Sunday and post 3 points down and nail it down. Mm-hmm. And I think I think that's the way the Arsenal have been approaching the season. It's all been about the next game. They're living in the moment.
Yeah, you're right.
They're living in the moment,
Yeah, he's kept him grounded, hasn't he? Arteta.
Has to.
He's done very well for a small name manager.
I was just going to say that for a semi-big name manager, he's done quite well. Now, the next thing is, briefly, Thursday is the second leg of the Europa League last 16. Stands at 2-2. How do you see it going, lads? Do you see we should be... They're good teams, Lisbon. They will cause us few problems on the night, I think. But I can only see a home win here, lads. The atmosphere should be really good for European nights. Craig, how do you see it going? Do you see it going through?
Yeah, look, I think there'll be a lot of change. I think, the likes of Tomiyasu, Kuyar, Tierney might come in, and then Jorginho, probably Smith Rowe, Vieira. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked to see Jesus starting towards it. Maybe give him an hour, but then I don't know. Maybe he could start Trossard or something again, and give Jesus the last 25-30 minutes. Look, we should be beating Sporting Lisbon at home. They have a couple of decent players. The winger Edwards is a good player, ex-Spurs player. Actually, he's been linked with a move.
He scored against us, lads, when we played Victoria. If you remember them.
He was good. It was good for them. They're missing Sebastian Coates, who, look, he's not a brilliant centre half, but he's their captain and he's the leader on the pitch for them. So they have him missing, and they have the centre mid missing. He was actually good last week. So look, I think we have to be beating Lisbon at home. I don't think it'll be an easy game because they'll throw the kitchen sink at the game, I'd say. So look, in terms of prediction, I'll go 3-1 Arsenal.
Brandon, your prediction?
Again, as I was saying, there's guys that are coming in, and they want to be playing in the first team. They want to be playing the league games as well, so they're going to be all out to put on a good performance. There's nothing there. There's no half measures going to be taken. So I think we're going to go out and just play as we play, all guns blazing, and for the first 20 minutes, and then hopefully that will be the end of it, and game manage it all the way through. But they're a Champions League side, so they're no mugs, and they caused us problems. But I think, as you say, with the crowd behind us, we're on form. Can't see anything but like a comprehensive Arsenal win with my red-tinged glasses on. So yeah.
Eamon, I take it you're going for the same thing, Eamon.
Well, I don't know. I was at the Arsenal Panathinaikos game that broke my heart. The one that Mikel Arteta got COVID just before lockdown, and we'd beaten them 1-0 over there. Do you remember this? And Aubameyang scored in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah,
and then they went up and got another one. Then Aubameyang missed an opener. These things can happen. Europa League football is different than Premier League football. But I think Brendan's probably nailed it, and Craig. Excuse me. We have a better squad than they have. So I don't know what they're going to play. I mean, I don't know how the Portuguese league is fixed, whether they're in contention or
They're,
not.
they're fourth.
No,
Fifth, fourth.
No, so they're gonna put the
this
full
is
team out.
yeah.
We're gonna put a 60% team out, made up of 40% of people who are bursting a gut to get into the team. So
Do you think it's hard start to lose, Johnny? Eamon?
sorry, Craig.
Do you think Jesus starts?
I don't think so. I
No.
don't think so. I don't think so because I think they'd be worried about doing him damage.
Yeah.
You know, I think he'd like to start them,
Yeah.
and I think that the lad himself would like to start. I mean, if you heard what Arteta was saying about Jesus during the week, that you know, a few days before the game at the weekend, he was saying he's just not ready. And then the day before the game, he eyeballed him and said, "I'm ready." A few more days training. Would you start them or would you start? I don't think you start Martinelli up front.
Bring him on at half time.
Yeah.
Let them get a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Maybe give Trossard and Jesus a half, you know.
Yeah. And there's hope and lads. I
think we can win the game 2-1. I don't think it'll be a comfortable ride by any means. But I think we can win the game 2-1. You know.
Yeah, they've a good young manager, and I think his name's Amarin.
Whatever happens, I really hope we don't draw because, you know, extra time won't do us any favours here going into Sunday.
Yeah.
No, we should dispatch them. I think we'll dispatch them quickly in the first half. If I'm honest, you know, I think we'll come out. European nights at the Emirates is, you know, always.
Make a point. It actually wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if he did go strong here on Thursday because, you know, we've only 2 games for the international break, and you know, it wouldn't surprise me to see, you know, the main starting 11 play and maybe 3 or 4, you know, second fiddle.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of moved away from where we were squad wise. I actually think that we now have 18, 19 that you could play in any game.
Yeah.
You know,
13, 14 we had. 6
yeah,
months.
exactly, Brendan, exactly.
That game will be in the River Bar. Will you be there, eh?
If you play in the River Bar, Jonathan, I think the pitch would be too small for them. And there'd be point glasses in the way of the defenders.
In the River.
It's not a bad thing,
Games in the Emirates, but we will be in the River Bar, yeah.
It's going to be a good long weekend, lads. Paddy's Day action. Ireland beating England in the rugby to seal the Grand Slam. It should be a good weekend. Yeah. Just want to give a shout out to Pat McLaughlin over at joesarson.com. Picks up pre and post match videos of Arteta and co. So they've gone over 1,000 subscribers now. So that's good to see. Is there anything else, lads, you'd like to mention?
Martin Odegaard just won something on the London Awards as well. I haven't seen what it was.
I know Zinchenko won February Player of the Month again for us. So he's
Odegaard won the best aha haircut award.
I think he won an Oscar.
You're just jealous, Eamon.
Yeah.
As always.
Well, you know, take on me, you know.
As always, you can catch our show on Spotify, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. The show will be up in the next few hours. As always, I'd like to thank my guests tonight, Eamon, Craig, and Brendan. Thanks for coming on, lads, for your expert analysis, as always.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, lads.
Catch Martin's show Beyond the Last Man on Thursday. Or maybe not Thursday, you could be doing it maybe even Wednesday because of the Europa League match. And we'll be back next Monday to review the Crystal Palace game and go over our season so far. So until then, thanks for listening. Give us a like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week, lads.
And remember, put a sock in it, Barlow.
So frustrating, dude.
Okay, see you lads. God bless.